Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we uncover the juicy details hidden in plain sight. Today we're diving into a report from ALT5 Sigma Gumfingsia that's got more twists and turns than a mystery novel. So ALT5 Sigma Corporation, a company you might know from the Nasdaq under ticker ALT5, has just dropped a recent update, and boy is there a lot to unpack. It seems like things have been anything but quiet behind the scenes at this company. We're talking about big leadership changes, unexpected legal battles, and even some shaky financial disclosures, all happening around August of 2025. First off, let's quickly touch on their basic setup. They're a Nevada corporation trading on the Nasdaq, nothing too unusual there. Now, on to the drama. A big piece of news dropped on August 25, 2025 concerning their chief financial officer, Mr. Jonathan Hu. He had been appointed just a week or so earlier on August 13th, and on August 25th, the company laid out the terms of his compensation. This includes a solid base salary of $550,000, a target bonus that could match his salary dollar for dollar, and a significant stock award of 66,667 shares. These shares are fully vested right away, but there's a catch. They could be taken back if he leaves voluntarily within a year on a prorated basis. It sounds like a pretty standard package for a top executive, designed to keep him around and motivated. The company also mentioned they'll have a formal employment agreement with him soon, which we'll be keeping an eye on. But that's not all. The report also spills the beans on some major shifts in the company's board of directors. Remember that private placement and registered direct offering they closed in August? Well, apparently World Liberty Financial or WLF got some serious rights out of that deal. They have the power to nominate 2 directors to the company's board and some other oversight capabilities. It seems like they've already put that power to use. Zachary Witkoff has stepped up as the chairman of the board, and he's the first nominee from WLF. Plus, Eric Trump and Zachary Folkman have been brought on as observers, meaning they'll be watching the company's operations closely. And pending stockholder approval, Zachary Folkman is also set to join the board as a director. These kinds of changes, especially with influential parties involved, can really shape a company's future direction. On top of all this, to meet Nasdaq's listing rules, Matt Morgan is going to be working as a consultant, essentially acting like a chief investment officer. This suggests a focus on strategic investments and financial oversight moving forward. Next up, a change to the very rules of the game. On August 27, 2025, the board approved an amendment to the company's bylaws. This is a pretty significant tweak. Before this change, you needed a majority of the voting shares to be present, either in person to have a proper meeting where decisions could be made. Now they've lowered that requirement. All it takes is 33 1/3% of the outstanding voting shares to be present for a quorum. Why would they do this? Lowering the quorum threshold makes it easier to hold shareholder meetings and pass resolutions. Even if fewer shareholders show up, this could make the company more nimble in its decision making. But it also means that a smaller group of shareholders could potentially control the outcome of votes. They've attached the full amendments and passed resolutions, even if fewer shareholders show up. This could make the company more nimble in its decision making, but it also means that a smaller group of shareholders could potentially control the outcome of votes. They've attached the full amendment as an exhibit so you can dig into the legalese there. On August 27th, the board learned about a judgment handed down by an intermediate court in Nyarugenge, Rwanda, way back on May 7th. This decision found that ALT5 Sigma Canada Inc., a subsidiary of this company, and its former boss, Mr. Andre Beauchesnay, were criminally guilty of things like illicit enrichment and money laundering. The court also denied a civil claim made by the subsidiary to get access to its own funds, which were held in a Rwandan bank. The outcome for the subsidiary and its former head is pretty harsh. Mr. Beauchesnay is ordered to go to jail, pay fines, and the company's funds, about $3.5 million, are to be confiscated. Not only that, but the subsidiary itself, ALT5 Sigma Canada Inc., is to be dissolved. However, this isn't the end of the story in Rwanda. Both the subsidiary and Mr. Beauchesnay have appealed this judgment to a higher court. They're arguing that they were actually victims of fraud and that they should get their money back. The company states that there's no guarantee of what will happen with this appeal, and they're working hard to protect their interests. They're also reviewing how this Rwandan judgment might affect their previous financial reports. This is a pretty serious situation with potentially massive financial implications. Adding to the concern, the board was only recently made aware of this Rwandan judgment and other issues. These seem to have been kept from the board both when they acquired ALT5 Sigma back in May 2024 and even during the more recent fundraising efforts. As soon as they found out, the board acted swiftly. They formed a special committee made up of 3 independent directors to dig into these matters. This committee has been given the authority to figure out what actions the company should take. And what are they reviewing? Big red flags here, folks. This includes potential mistakes or missing information in the company's financial statements, and even that key people in management might have left out crucial details. The board is committed to fixing these problems and will provide updates. They've hired legal counsel and outside advisors to help with the investigation and are working with the company's auditors to understand the impact on their financial reporting. This signals a significant internal review, possibly leading to restatements or other corrective actions. But wait, there's more potential trouble on the legal front. On August 14th, the company received a summons and complaint related to a bankruptcy case. This complaint was filed in August in connection with the Chapter 7 bankruptcy of former Chief Financial Officer Verland Johnson. The core of the issue here is a stock award granted to Mr. Johnson in October 2023. He was supposed to receive over 329,000 shares of the company's stock. The problem? According to this complaint, Mr. Johnson apparently didn't mention this stock award when he filed for bankruptcy in January 2024. The US trustee representing the bankruptcy estate is now trying to get these shares or their value back from the company. The complaint also raises questions about what happened to these shares. Were they not delivered? Were they transferred, sold, or perhaps still held by Mr. Johnson? The company strongly disputes these claims and says they will fight them. This is another legal headache that could have financial consequences. As with most SEC filings, there's a section dedicated to forward-looking statements. They're essentially warning investors that statements about future expectations, plans, and prospects are subject to risks and uncertainties. They mention that their actual results could be quite different from what they predict, especially given the factors that are outlined in their previous annual and quarterly reports. They highlight that this information they're providing now might be incomplete, and investors shouldn't rely too heavily on these future-looking statements. This is standard language, but given all the issues being disclosed, it takes on a more serious tone here. Finally, we have the exhibits. This is where they list the supporting documents for the report. Exhibit 3.1 is the amendment to the company's bylaws, the one we talked about that lowers the quorum requirement. And Exhibit 01, and welcome back to these filings. And of course, we have the signatures on August 29, 2025. Tony Isaac, the president and secretary, signed off on this report, attesting to its accuracy to the best of his knowledge. Now let's put on our analyst hats and look at what this all means for ALT5 Sigma Corporation. This report paints a picture of a company navigating some serious turbulence. The appointment of a new CFO with a substantial compensation package signals a move towards strengthening financial leadership, which is good. The board changes, bringing in new directors and observers, could point to efforts to improve governance and strategy, especially with the influence of WLF. However, the lowered quorum requirement for shareholder meetings is a bit of a mixed bag. While it might expedite decision making, it also raises questions about shareholder representation and potentially concentrates power. The biggest red flags, though, are the legal issues. The judgment in Rwanda involving criminal liability, money laundering, and significant asset confiscation is deeply concerning. The fact that the board was only recently made aware of this and has launched a special committee investigation suggests potential undisclosed issues and a possible impact on their financial reporting. This is the kind of thing that can lead to major financial and reputational damage. On top of that, the allegation that a former CFO failed to disclose stock awards in his bankruptcy filing, leading to a suit seeking to recover those assets, adds another layer of legal and financial uncertainty. These situations are not just complex, they can drag on for a long time and drain company resources. Overall, ALT5 Sigma Corporation appears to be in a period of significant transition and faces substantial legal and operational challenges. While there are efforts to bolster leadership and governance, the serious accusations and ongoing investigations, particularly the ones stemming from Rwanda, create considerable risk. Investors should be extremely cautious and closely watch the findings of the special committee and the outcomes of these various legal proceedings. The company's ability to manage these crises and maintain transparency will be crucial for its future. Alright, that's our breakdown of ALT5 Sigma's latest filings. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description for more exclusive content and discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.